This morning, a scoop in the race for Dallas County District Attorney.
If there's no change to the crime rate, why take this political hit?
Well, that's a good question.
Incumbent Democrat John Creuzot revealing to us that he is now reconsidering a controversial policy of not prosecuting some low-level thefts. His Republican challenger Faith Johnson also taking our questions on abortion, among other issues.
You can still prosecute the doctors for cases of rape or incest. Would you prosecute doctors if they performed an abortion on women for rape or incest?
Well, keep in mind what we do.
Both candidates in one of the state's largest DA's offices are with us this morning. Governor Abbott has reversed what he said in last week's debate, now admitting that the New York mayor's office did reach out about busing migrants north. And one of our neighboring Republican governors all but admits to us that he will run for president in 2 years.
Inside Texas Politics with Jason Whiteley starts now.
Good Sunday morning to our viewers across the state. I'm Jason Whiteley. Before we get to that big race that we're focusing on this weekend, let's get you updated on the top political headlines here in Texas. Governor Abbott has flip-flopped on something he stated during last week's gubernatorial debate. Abbott said the New York mayor's office did not contact his office about busing migrants north. Well, when the mayor's office in New York City showed emails proving that, Abbott changed his story and then admitted that communication did exist, just not personally with him. Uvalde ISD fired a newly hired school cop. Turns out this cop used to be a state trooper, and she is one of the officers under investigation for her response to that mass murder at Robb Elementary back in May. Evidently, Uvalde did not research her background thoroughly. After CNN broke that news last Wednesday, Uvalde fired her the following day. And in San Antonio, Bexar County there is being sued for reducing the number of places to go vote on Election Day. Bexar County has 259 polling places planned for Election Day next month, but the Texas Civil Rights Project says state law requires Bexar County to have 388 polling locations. The Houston Chronicle notes that this group has had success in court before, forcing that county to open additional polling places 2 years ago in the 2020 election. Let's start, though, with the district attorney's office in Dallas County. The DA is the chief prosecutor in each county, deciding how and what crimes to charge people with when they are arrested. The Dallas DA's office has made news across the state over the last few years. One, for how it will address abortion cases in Dallas, and again, for deciding not to prosecute some low-level minor theft cases. And that has led to a competitive race next month and a revelation this morning from the incumbent. Here's Democrat John Creuzot running for re-election. Judge, welcome back to the program. You've gotten a lot of headlines since you were elected about reforms you have made in the office. If re-elected, what else do you intend to do?
Well, a lot of the things have to be continued and followed. For example, the marijuana policy. As you know, SMU has done a study. They intended to do 5 parts. They did 3 and said it's working. Reduction on race of marijuana arrests for misdemeanor offenses is going down.
And this policy for our viewers is you won't prosecute first-time offenses under a certain amount, right?
Right, under 4 ounces. But there are exceptions. If you have a gun, if it's for sale, drug-free zone like a school or something like that, of course we would prosecute. Another thing that we're doing, working with Dallas and Garland, is something called focused deterrence. It's in Chief Garcia's crime plan. And we're working with them to see who are the high-risk individuals for violent crime. And what we're doing is intervention, okay, rehabilitative if necessary.
But how do you identify those people?
Well, from recent activity, they may have been arrested with a gun, they may have committed an offense, they may be recently on parole. There are lots of different things, and it's all research-based. We're working with his criminologist from UTSA. We have another one from University of South Florida. They all know each other. And so it's a combined program with those 2 departments, and if we can't stop them from committing a crime, we have prosecutors who are focused on them.
Judge, 3 years ago, you enacted a policy about thefts in
Yes.
2019.
Yes.
And this is something your opponent has attacked you about. You've made a lot of headlines about it. You don't prosecute people stealing food, diapers, or baby formula under $750 as long as they're not reselling it. Did I state that correctly?
No, it's between 100 and 750.
100 and 750.
Yes, and that's important.
But it is. All these details are important. But what happens to those people?
Well,
Do
first
they
of all,
face any type of penalty at all? Do they go to municipal courts or what?
well, I gave you the numbers, and you can see that for a number of years, that actual category of case has been declining, and the rejections are exactly the same, percentage-wise.
Last year, you rejected 13 cases.
Right, and I don't know why we rejected. That may have been for lack of proof or whatever. I can't even say that was it, but we rejected 13 cases of that category. Right. Now, what's important to know about this? The first $100 doesn't even come to us. It goes to a municipality, and that's like a Class C ticket. So somebody's going to be liable up to $500. And I was called, for example, to the state Senate, to a committee, and for this issue and to see what impact it was having on crime. Their statistician pulled out his numbers and told them, I see no impact on crime. Now, in a political environment, obviously it's easy to accuse the policy of causing all kinds of problems. We work with the retailers. Mm-hmm. We have talked to the Black Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic, Dallas. Do you have any data or research to show that any business closed other than COVID? Have you had any complaints? And we've gotten 0 responses back. And we continue to work with our retailers as collaborative partners.
Well, if there's no change to the crime rate, why take this political hit?
Well, that's a good question. And there was a question whether it would do that anyway. And so, like anything else that's neutral but controversial, I think in the near future we'll have to consider whether we'll keep it. If we can't show that it's having any impact one way or the other, but people have a negative opinion about it, I think if I did that right now, I'd be accused of crass, politicism or whatever. And so, but I'm certainly open to it.
Will you reconsider it after the election if you're reelected?
Yes.
And what would be the deciding point in this?
Is that it's neutral. It didn't have any impact. It's been misinterpreted. It's been used politically, and there's no need to do that. I mean, if there's a perception, but the facts are not there, and the policy is neutral, then obviously any policy you would reconsider.
In your first term here as DA, when you look back at the reforms you've made, what do you think has worked the best? And we already talked about what you might have to reconsider because it hasn't had an effect.
Yeah, I think what got lost in this conversation is why are we making these reforms? The marijuana reform, and I think you may have seen these numbers, 90+% year in and year out people of color for very small amounts of marijuana that may wind up and usually do wind up with a criminal record that will impair them for the rest of their lives. Okay, but it also has an impact. 5-6 hours to stop, search, get a tow truck, put the person in jail, get back. Okay, if you have a 911 call, you might not get it responded to in time because of what? That long period of time on that case, okay, that has no impact on public safety.
Judge, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
We'll speak with Crusoe's Republican opponent in a moment. First, though, let's talk about an appointment that Governor Abbott made last week. He named a former Secret Service agent from Dallas as the state's first chief of school safety and security. This is a brand new role in the TEA that's supposed to be an expert and a resource for school districts and for lawmakers. Let's bring in Ian Mitra to talk about this. He's the senior managing editor at the Texas Tribune, an organization which has been covering this. Ian, what exactly is this person going to do?
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, this is a new position, so I think his mandate is to kind of implement things, whether it's passed by the legislature. I think the focus is on aspects of school safety and preventing school shootings, and so it's still a little bit to be determined what's going to happen since this is the first person. This was a position created by Abbott after the school shooting in Uvalde. Yeah. Obviously Abbott has dedicated millions of dollars in state funds and resources. So the implementation of that and kind of guidance for schools is going to be a big part of this role, but specifics are still to come. And
interesting to see how the folks in Uvalde are going to receive this as well. But I want to ask you about the EPA. It said it's going to roll out a whole new suite of tools, a brand new toolbox to help states like Texas adapt to the impacts of climate change. What are they proposing for Texas specifically?
Yeah, the EPA kind of did this by region too. And the region that Texas is in, they wanted to focus on, and they haven't done this since 2014, this kind of some recommendations for things to focus on and potential communication strategies. And they focused on aspects like sea level rise, flooding, drought, and extreme storms. And so the idea here is not necessarily like specific, is really about communication strategies and potential ways to kind of let people know about just kind of aspects of susceptibility. Now, obviously, if there are things that turn into more mandates and things, that's going to be another issue that'll be a debate here, obviously, in Texas, which has resisted such kind of actions.
Yeah, indeed. So, Ian, thanks a lot. Back to you in just a moment here. Coming up next on the program, a Republican, though, running to be Dallas County's top prosecutor. It's Faith Johnson, and she differs from the Democratic incumbent John Creuzot we just heard from in a couple of ways, specifically on abortion. Plus, Tuesday marks 1 month from Election Day. How are the big statewide campaigns shaping up? We'll talk about that a little later. Inside Texas Politics, back in just a moment.
I'm Sean Blakely, Technical Director at AmericanEagle.com. Our clients have complex website and digital needs. Werner Co. Global Brands needed a new website platform to empower marketing and reduce technical complexity for 12 international brands, including Werner Ladder. We solve digital challenges like this all the time. We re-architected and integrated their back office systems, significantly reducing operational expenses. For complete website and digital solutions, come to AmericanEagle.com.
The 2023 Tundra. Toyota, let's go places.
Joe Biden's inflation is crushing Americans. And Biden and Beto support higher taxes that would crush us even more.
But in Texas, we are fighting back, cutting property taxes to help homeowners, producing more energy to lower gas prices. And we passed a constitutional amendment to ban an income tax in Texas. If you're tired of getting crushed by Biden's inflation, join us and keep Texas strong.
Get a head start on your holiday shopping with the lowest advertised prices of the season at NFM. Shop our huge in-stock selection for the most wanted gifts of the season. Save 35% on a GE 30-inch wall oven. Get this dining set for just $479, or an LG Smart TV for $21.99. Plus, no interest in 2022 or 2023 if paid in full by June 2024 on qualifying purchases. Shop the lowest prices of the season now at NFM.
Some people say the metaverse will only be virtual. But one day, this farmer will use augmented reality to help ensure the best yield. Urban planners will model traffic solutions to help decrease commute times. Exploring a spacecraft in a museum is one thing. But one day, the metaverse will help students learn about the rings of Saturn. The metaverse may be virtual, but the impact will be real.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and get moving. Go cardio crazy in our clean and spacious clubs. Jam out on the strength machines and get down with some dumbbells. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends Friday, October 14th.
Now back to the big race we're looking at this weekend, the one for Dallas County District Attorney. This is the chief prosecutor, the person who decides how and what crimes people are charged with in Dallas County. Governor Abbott appointed Judge Faith Johnson to that job in 2016, but Democrat John Creuzot defeated her 4 years ago. Now Johnson is back running for this position on her own and taking our questions this morning. Hey, Judge, you are a Republican in a Democratic county. Why should voters in this county kick out a Democratic incumbent?
Only because when you look at what's happening in Dallas County right now, people are fed up with crime. Folks are scared. They feel unsafe. They feel insecure. And one thing about it, it doesn't matter whether you're Democrat or Republican. Crime matters to them. And when you look at the fact that when a guy comes and put a gun to your head, he doesn't ask, are you a Republican? Oh, you're a Democrat. Everybody, wherever you go, Jason, they're concerned about what's happening in their neighborhood as it relates to crime. And they feel that the DA's office has a direct impact and can make a difference. And that's what I plan to do, is make a difference in that office to make certain that the people of Dallas County are safe and secure. That's part of my job.
I want to ask you about the theft policy. The current policy at the DA's office now is not to prosecute theft of food, diapers, or baby formula under $750 as long as the people stealing it aren't doing it for economic gain, as long as they're not trying to sell that. The DA says of more than 1,000 cases similar to this, he's only rejected 13 of those cases. How big of a problem do you think that is?
I think it's a big problem. And the problem isn't people just going in there stealing diapers and baby formula. People are going in stealing Cadillac convertible TVs, anything under $750. That policy is going out the window come January 1st, 2023.
But Judge, the people who are stealing things other than baby formula and diapers, et cetera, those would still be prosecuted.
Those cases are not being prosecuted. And talking to the police, they're saying that they have gotten strict instructions. Don't bring these cases to us under $750. Initially, remember when that policy came out, April 2019, officers were still trying to arrest people. And the DA specifically said to them, don't do it. I'm not taking those cases under $750. So police officers are not wasting their time going to these various stores trying to arrest people. And it doesn't matter whether that, what kind of case it is, you know, what kind of item they're stealing. If it's under $750, it's not being, people are not being arrested.
One of the things you say you want to do if elected is to, quote, prosecute all crime. You're talking about the theft policy too, but people read that and certainly asking, will you prosecute people for abortion?
Well, under section 1906, I don't know if you read that in the Texas Penal Code.
I've gotten familiar with it lately.
Right, under 1906, there's an exception. You cannot prosecute a woman who causes the death of an unborn child. You cannot.
But you can prosecute doctors or anyone else, according to Texas law, who helps out with that. And even drives the woman to an abortion clinic. No, will you prosecute those cases?
My understanding of the law is that you cannot prosecute women who cause the death of an unborn child. Now, anybody else who facilitates that, yes, that's under the law, and I would have to prosecute that because I'm committed to abiding by the laws of the state of Texas and of this country.
Judge, even for rape or incest victims?
Well, rape or incest victims, those women are not prosecuted under 1906. They've not. No DA can do that in the state of Texas. Whether it means the current DA or any other prosecutor cannot prosecute those women for getting an abortion under 1906.
But you can still prosecute the doctors for cases of rape or incest. Would you prosecute doctors if they performed an abortion on women for rape or incest?
Well, keep in mind what we do at the DA's office. We have a lot of leeway. We prosecute, but look at all the diversion programs, all the other opportunities we have for people. But yes, I am committed to abiding by the laws of the state of Texas and of this country.
Right now, the district attorney's office has another policy that's kind of well known. He's not prosecuting most first-time offenders with marijuana. You say you want to bring back the cite and release program that Dallas County had under your tenure. Well, why do you want to change that? Is it not working as it is now?
Well, when you look at it, Jason, the whole idea of a lot of these policies is to try to cut back on jail population and that sort of thing. And have you recently read the September 2022 report about jail overcrowding? All these policies have not impacted our jail population. So when you look at my cite and release program, I'm still making people accountable. But yet, they're not being arrested. It's a cite and release. And we have the memo program. So those cases are still being dismissed. So I'm still upholding my oath as your DA, and that's what my responsibility as DA is, to make certain that I abide by the laws of this state and of these United States.
Judge, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You know, there's been lots of talks about Ron DeSantis running for president in 2 years, but a Republican governor who neighbors Texas He all but told us that he is going to run for the White House in 2024. This is Asa Hutchinson. He's a term-limited governor in Arkansas, and Hutchinson walks a fine line there. He has gotten support from the current base of the Republican Party, but unlike other Republicans nationwide, Governor Hutchinson has not been afraid to disagree with Donald Trump. And the bigger question, can a center-right or moderate Reagan-style Republican, can they survive nationally in today's GOP? This is a rich conversation with a potential presidential candidate. Download this episode of Y'all-itics this morning wherever you get your podcasts. Governor Abbott on the defense in Uvalde. Is he feeling political pressure to do something before the election? We'll discuss that next on the Roundtable.
When I became a doctor, I took an oath. I promised to treat anyone who was in pain. But Greg Abbott isn't letting me live up to that promise. Hospitals forced to turn patients away. That's not why I chose this profession. And it doesn't have to be this way.
When I'm governor, we're expanding Medicaid. We bring $10 billion into communities. We lower your property taxes.
People's health above politics. That's why I'm voting for Beto.
At Thomas J. Henry, our results speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust.
It is so hot. Can we please start using the AC again?
Soon as I can find the lowest price on electricity.
Whoa! Did you say lowest price? That's me. I can always get you a low price with Frontier. See? Frontier makes saving a snap.
Cool. What should we watch?
Let's leave it to Lois.
Stay cool and save money. Get your best electricity deal with Frontier. Sign up now.
Get a good night's sleep with NFM. Right now, during the Mattress Marathon, save up to $800 instantly with qualifying mattress and adjustable base purchases. Get a Serta Perfect Sleeper Pillow Top Queen mattress for only $7.99. Plus, add a qualifying adjustable base and save up to $800 instantly. We have a huge in-stock selection, all backed by our comfort and price guarantee. Enjoy express next-day delivery with qualifying mattress purchases, plus 60-month financing. Get better sleep, relaxation, and comfort when you shop NFM.
Have a car? A title? You could get up to $10,000 with Title Max. Go to TitleMax.com and enter your car year, make, and model. See how much you could get. Check out TitleMax.com for the most cash you need. Check out TitleMax.com and shop us for rates. Check out TitleMax.com. All credit types accepted. Find out why so many people say,
I got my title back with Title Max.
I got my title back with Title Max.
Get your title back with Title Max.
For 4 days only at Ashley Home Store's flash sale. Save up to $1,000 off your purchase or get 0% interest for 6 years. Get this 5-piece dining set now only $19 per month. Friday through Monday only at Ashley Home Store.
Time now for Reporters Roundtable to put the headlines in perspective. Aya Mitra is back with us from the Texas Tribune in Austin. Ashley Godot is the managing editor of political content and an anchor at KVUE in Austin. And Jessica Huzman is the editorial director at votebeat.org. Aya, let's start with you. Tuesday marks a month from the election. A month out, 4 weeks and 2 days out. How are the statewide campaigns shaping up as we go into this final horse race here?
Well, certainly all eyes are at the top of the ballot here, which, with the governor's race between Beto O'Rourke and the incumbent Governor Greg Abbott, obviously they're finding their messages and kind of sticking to their messages. The governor is obviously focusing on immigration, border security, economy, issues that he believes he's the strongest with. And obviously Beto O'Rourke is hitting on other issues, education, aspects of the Uvalde school shooting, issue about abortion access. And so, obviously these folks are going to be staying on message. I think a lot of folks are forgetting is that this is a pretty big battle. A lot of statewide races are on there. So there's a lot of things going on, whether it's the lieutenant governor's race, the attorney general's race, there's a lot to vote on.
There is a lot, Ashley. And with just a month out here, is anything really going to change? Because the polls have been pretty firm in their predictions.
The polls are pretty firm, but of course, as with all elections, it all depends on who shows up on election day. And I think that's why you're seeing Beto O'Rourke continuing these college tours, trying to get out the message that he needs young voters and voters of color, particularly young female voters of color, to head to the polls. Our polling, other polling shows that those younger voters are who would help him get across the finish line. And that's why he's spending a lot of his time trying to motivate that section of Texas voters.
Yeah, can he get those voters out? Jessica, I want to ask you about a Texas-based group called True the Vote. It has said for years there's a problem with the election machines, that they're not secure. But True the Vote's now being sued over this, and the allegations are pretty serious.
Yes, they are being sued for defamation in the Texas Southern District. A owner of a company called Conic, his name is Eugene Yu, is suing them, saying that they have falsely claimed that he was hiding information on elections in Wuhan, China, on a server. He denies those allegations, but messing everything up is the fact that Mr. Yu was arrested by local police in Michigan just a couple of days ago because of charges he's been brought up on in LA County for breach of contract. So it's a mess. The hearing yesterday was very contentious, and True the Vote is a really influential conservative activism group in Texas. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
A lot of drama here in the final 4 weeks. Ian, let's talk about Uvalde. We've seen Beto O'Rourke really make it a point. We've seen campaign ads on this, and we've seen a number of the parents of survivors, parents of victims and survivors, really campaign on this. Is Uvalde going to be an issue come November?
You know, it's going to be an issue come November and past, because I think there's a lot of dissatisfaction about what has been the response. You know, obviously the governor's office, they've set aside this money on school safety and mental health services, but families have really been lobbying hard for raising the minimum age to buy certain types of firearms and stuff, and so that will continue to be an issue that's debated and through the election and beyond.
And Ashley, you know, this is an issue that has clearly resonated with folks in South Texas, but, you know, parents everywhere can kind of relate to this.
Absolutely. All parents want to make sure that their children are staying safe. And I think all parents want to see something beyond the messages that we're hearing of the need to harden schools. If you look at this, you know, this is not just opinions. When you look at polling, the numbers show that folk in Texas want to see something done. And I think Democrats are going to try to capitalize on this opportunity, use this as momentum to try to get their message out in these final days to try to get voters to elect them.
And Jessica, final word here, about 30 seconds left.
You know, I think that they are both totally correct. I think school shooting and school violence has been an issue in Texas more than any other state for many years. And so I think that given how flagrant Beto O'Rourke has been on the campaign trail, his ad with the Uvalde family is very striking. He is certainly making this a talking point, and I think it will continue to be.
Jessica, thank you very much. It is a powerful ad. We appreciate that, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.